Om Shuklam Varadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada येनाक्षरसंनाम्नायम् अधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम् वागर्थाविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्थः प्रतिपत्तये जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ. Namaste everyone, welcome. So going to switch screens here. So in our last class, we were going over abdha, and in abdha, we were doing our exercise, I believe it was 31. And so now we're actually going to jump to our next word. Let's look at mati quickly, and then we're going to jump to our next word. So after abdha, we're actually going to be looking at idam-śabdha, which comes next in the book. So mati is on page 116. So you can have your book 1 open. We're going to 116 and then going to our next word after that on page 118. So mati, as we've seen a few times now, it's a little bit of a combination between like guru and nadi, almost a little bit of a combination of both of those. And so you'll see on the screen there, so we can chant it together. Let's pick up a new word for today. So let's pick up buddhi. Buddhi means intellect or mind, right? So pick buddhi. Okay. So buddhihi, buddhi, buddhayah, buddhim, buddhi, buddhihi, buddhya, buddhibhyam, buddhibhihi, or one, buddhye or buddhaye, buddhibhyam, buddhibhyah, 5-1, buddhyaha or buddhehe, buddhibhyam, buddhibhyah, 6-1, buddhyaha or buddhehe, buddhyoho, buddhinam, 7-1, buddhyam or buddho, buddhyoho, buddhishu, he, buddhe, he, buddhi, he, buddhayah. Okay, so waking up our buddhi, and we're shaking off some of those cobwebs every week. You know, we're just refreshing. So hopefully it's coming more familiar. I kind of find those two forms make it a little bit harder to go through that flow because you kind of have to stop, and that makes it a little bit more difficult. And one thing to know is that you're never going to have to recite this in front of anyone. This is more that when you see one of these words in a text, you'll be able to recognize what case it possibly may be, right? So that's the real purpose of being able to identify from a pre-written sentence. And then from then we can try to figure out the meaning based on the context of where we're at. So we worked with mati. Now we're going to go to our next shabda. So if you can go to page 118, we're going to go to idam-śabdha. Idam. Okay. So before we really need to read the book, idam is what we call a sarvanama pratipadikam. Okay. What is pratipadikam? It's our nominal base, right? So the base of a noun is what we call pratipadikam. We always add that to our sup pratyaya. And there's 21 sup pratyayas. And so we get 21 forms. And so our pratipadikam here is in the category of sarvanama. Sarvanama means a pronoun. I think the word itself is beautiful, right? And nama, a name for sarva, for everything. A pronoun is a name for everything. You can say that, or that, or that, right? Anything you point to can say that or this, right? It doesn't matter if it's a boy or it's a table or whatever it is. So it's a sarvanama. It's our pronoun. Now, so the one we're doing today is idam. Idam means this. Now, if you remember, we've seen one more word translated as this, eshaha, or etad-śabdha, right? Relay for etad-śabdha is our pratipadika. That also means this. So idam means this, and etad means this. Okay. There's a note in that first sentence that when we say etad here, this actually will make it a little more clear. This down here. This is not on that page. This is from a different page. So you can note this down there. You will find this later on when we do adas. Etad is when we have something a little bit closer to us. And idam is still close, but not as close as something that you would use etad. Okay, so for example, between me and the computer is this pen. Right? So for the pen, I would say etad. Etad lekhanam. Okay. But when I'm talking about the computer, right in front of me, which is behind the pen, that's still pretty close. Then I would use idam-śabdha. So I hope that makes sense. When we're talking about using the word idam, it's still this. It's something close by we're pointing to or talking about, but it's maybe not as close as the etad, what we would use when we would use etad. Okay. Hope that's clear. Now, idam declines in all three lingas, all three genders. And so how do you know which one to use? It usually is qualifying another word, right? So when I said idam lekhanam, right? If I'm talking about a lekhanam, which is neuter gender, then I would use the neuter form of idam. If I'm talking about purushaha, which is masculine, I use the masculine form of idam. And we're going to see this. So there's three genders. They slightly vary from each other, but they're we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, get through masculine and neuter today. Maybe we can even touch on feminine. Okay. So this first one we're going to be looking at is idam in punlinga. Idam in punlinga. So this is our masculine. Okay. So hopefully you're feeling ready. Shake a little bit if you need to wake up. It's always fun getting a new shabda because it feels like we're adding another tool in our toolkit, right? We get access to so many more words and so many more sentences when we add another pratipadika. Okay. So idam. So if we look at just our first line, you notice how actually those first three lines, there's a lot of differentiation than what we've seen before. That where it's black and bold, that's where it's a little bit different. Where it's light gray, that declines like sarva in masculine. Okay? Declines like sarva in masculine. So maybe we should review sarva first. Okay, let's review sarva. I have it on the screen. I knew this was going to come up. So you don't need to open your book. It's right here on the screen. You can make a page, refer to page 93. It's page 93 in your book. Okay, so sarvaha. Really, we need to look from the fourth case onwards, but we'll chant the whole thing. Okay, we can do it together. Sarvaha, sarvo, sarve, sarvam, sarvo, sarvan, sarvena, sarvabhyam, sarvaihi. Okay, this is where it gets a little bit different than Rama Shabda. Sarvasmai, sarvabhyam, sarvebhyaha. Fifth case. Sarvasmat, sarvabhyam, sarvebhyaha. Sarvasya, sarvayoho, sarvesham. A little bit different there. Sarvasmin, sarvayoho, sarveshu. He, sarve, he, sarvo, he, sarve. Okay. So having that in our back of our mind, you can see some commonalities, right? Let's say we have the word idam and it just becomes the letter a. Okay, erase idam from your mind for a second and just think of the letter a. Okay, instead of, so we said sarva and we had smai, 4-1. Here we have and we had smai, so asmai. There we had sarvabhyam, but here we said and becomes abhyam. Sarvebhyaha. This is just like the ending almost of sarva. And so here we have ebhyaha. 5-1 sarvasmat. So here it's asmat or asmal, depending. There's a sandhi roll, which makes, we'll see the sandhi roll at some point. Abhyam and ebhyaha. Asya, just like sarvasya, or right? And here 6272 is slightly different, but anayoho, just like sarve sham, we just have a sham because we're just imagining it's a sham. Sarvasmin, here it's just asmin, anayoho, eshu. Okay, so from fourth case onwards, let me know if you have a question in the chat. If you have a question, you can just put any letter in the chat and I'll mute. But 4-1 onwards, it's very similar to the sarva except for 6272, right? You even see that 3-2 it follows that sarva, yeah. Okay. So now we need to look at those first three cases, really. And here they're just going to be different, but they follow similar formats to things we've seen before. So it won't look completely different, but it's not exactly the same as another shabda that we've seen. Okay, so you can repeat after me. Ayam imo ime. Ayam imo ime. Ayam imo ime. 2-second case. Imam imo iman. Imam imo iman. Okay, now first two cases. You can repeat after me. Ayam imo ime. Imam imo iman. Okay, one more time. You can repeat after me. Ayam imo ime. Imam imo iman. Okay, yeah. There's no traditional tune where we just add a tune. It helps us remember as well. And you always want to say this like you're a great pandita. Be loud about it. Okay, so third case. Anena abhyam ebihi. Anena abhyam ebihi. Okay. All right. So now with me, let's do those first three cases. With me, I'll go slowly, okay? So go slowly. Ayam, imo, ime, imam, imo, iman, anena, abhyam, ebihi, swaha. No. Yeah. So that's our first three cases. Now the only ones we haven't seen really are that 6-2 and 7-2. So we know that yoho we've seen comes from 6-2 and 7-2. Now it's just we get that nakara kind of slips in there. It's a addition that gets added. So it's anayoho for 6-2 and 7-2. Anayoho. Okay. So let's do the whole thing. Okay, we'll do it together and we're going to go slowly. Okay. Ayam, imo, ime, second case. Imam, imo, iman, third case. Anena, abhyam, ebihi, fourth case. Asmai, abhyam, ebhyaha, fifth case. Asmat, abhyam, ebhyaha. Sorry, three. I said ebhyaha, right? Ebihi. Did I have it okay? I don't know if I had it okay. Now I'm just questioning myself. So fourth case. Let's go back to third. Let's go back to third case. Okay, broke the flow there. Anena abhyam ebihi. Fourth case. Asmai abhyam ebhyaha. Fifth case. Asmat abhyam ebhyaha. Sixth case. Asya anayoho esham. Seventh case. Asmin anayoho eshu. Okay. Yeah. This is why we spent a lot of time on Rama Shabda and Sarva Shabda, all those beginning ones, because they do help. And you'll see they start fitting certain patterns. You can't figure out what it is, but when you're chanting it, it just will come, hopefully over time. There's no sambodhana, calling out. Okay. So there's no sambodhana that we get to call out. Let's see some practice. So this is in the back of your book, exercise 33. So I imagine it's page 182 or 83. Page 182 and 83. I'll take some questions also. Let me. Okay, Hariprasad ji, I see your hand up. You can go ahead and unmute yourself there.
So is that okay? I can say idam is in between etat and tat.
Correct.
Okay. And
now we are going to get one more word called adas, which will come after, and that will fit idam, adas, then dat. Yeah.
Okay. And would you kindly give us the meaning of each noun in the table?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. So when we're doing some exercises, we can do that.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Dhanyawada.
One thing to know is the meaning depends on the vibhakti artha. So that will change the meaning. But if we take the general karakas, then I can give some general meaning. But it depends on that vibhakti artha, right? Its relationship to the verb and which artha it's going to take. So that will change the translation, but we'll see some common ones. Okay. So we're just focusing. So it says idam and adas. We're just focusing on idam. And so far, we're just going to go from 1 to 6 because we haven't done neuter yet, which is 7 onwards. Okay. So let's see number 1. Okay. So idam. So idam 1-1 is, don't look at the chart. Okay. If you need to look at the chart, you can. But we're going to try to pull away from the chart. Idam 1-1 is ayam. Okay, so ayam purushaha asti. Okay. And why did we choose punlinga idam versus any other gender? Because purushaha, it's qualifying purushaha, and therefore it's going to be masculine. So idam, this person exists, or this is a person. Could be either way. But this person is, this person exists. It can also mean this is a person, right? Any of those translations. But so 1-1 is usually this referring to something, right? And then we see asti when in third 1, it's asti. Third 2, it's taha. And third 3, santi. Astatus. You'll see that in the next. Asti, staha, santi. Okay, so number 2, ayam, imo, ime. So the tune, you'll never lose that tune, right? So imo, purusho, staha. These 2 people are. Right? These 2 people exist. Okay, can you tell me in the chat, number 3? Yeah, looking good. So ime, if we write it in transliteration, it'll be ime. So ime. Ime purushaha santi. Okay, these translations are not getting much. These sentences aren't as juicy, but right, these all people, or right, these all people. It's kind of a clunky translation, but these all people are exist. Okay, so number 4, right? In 2, 3. Okay, so think of it. Okay, let's do the first line. Ayam, imo, ime, imam, imo, iman. Hopefully you got it. Okay, so iman, lokan, tyajati. Okay. Okay, so tyajati, tyaj to renounce. So we have to add a first case, right? A 1-1 to match with this. So we would add saha, sa, tad, right? So saha tyajati. He renounces iman lokan, these worlds, right? These other lokas. Right? For moksha, you need to give up all the pursuits. So he renounces all these lokas. Okay, 5. Ayam, imo, ime. Say with me. Imam, imo, iman. Anena, abhyam, ebihi. Right, so 3-1. Anena, purushena, vastu nyayate. Okay. Nyayate is so nya dhatu to know, but here it's karmani prayoga. I'm not sure why I'm doing your homework for you, but no, I'm just kidding. We're all doing this together. But nyayate nya dhatu, latlakara, karmani prayoga, third one. So something is known. What is known? Vastu nyayate. The vastu can either mean an object or reality. Could also mean reality. So the reality is known. Anena purushena, by this person. You know, it can also be it can be in the sense of cause, right? So it can be this reality is known because this person, because of this person, right? So there's those meanings. Heto tritiya. Heto tritiya is another meaning. But there's multiple meanings of each of these cases. We have to see each in context, right? But it's this or this in singular, these two in dual, or these all, or you can just say these for plural. Now you just add the right word before it to make it fit in the context. Okay, 6-1. So let's start with them again. Ayam, imo, ime, imam, imo, iman, anena, abhyam, ebihi, fourth case, asmai, abhyam, ebhyaha, fifth case, asmat, abhyam, ebhyaha, sixth case. Asya anayoho esham. Is that correct? No. Yeah, esham. Okay. All right. So sixth one. Asya purushasya jnanam asti. Okay, so jnanam asti, there is knowledge. There is knowledge. Kasya jnanasya, or for kasya, for who? Asya purushasya. So there is knowledge for this person or of this person. Of this person, there is knowledge. Or, yeah. Right? So for or of this person, there is knowledge. Okay. Now, what I want to say, okay, because we have a few more minutes, is let's quickly look at just the neuter form for today as well. Okay, so if you want to go back to your book, this is page 119, I believe, maybe still 118. You can check it out. This is right after the masculine idam in your book 1. So in neuter, everything from third case onward is exactly the same. Okay, so that's a big relief. Isn't that nice? A little bit of work is removed. Okay, so now these first two cases are slightly different. Idam, ime, imani. Idam, ime, imani. Right? And they repeat. So it's even less work to get the neuter. Right? Idam, say with me. Idam, ime, imani. Idam, ime, imani. Phalam, phale, phalani. But it's a little bit different. So it's not exactly the same because there's, but idam, ime, imani. Yeah. Idam, ime, imani. Right? So this is right? This is how it is for the first two cases. And then the third case onward is same. So that's good. Okay. So let's just jump to number 8. I know. Okay. Shariram bhavati. Idam shariram bhavati. Right? Idam, ime, imani. So don't forget that. Okay. So idam shariram bhavati. This body is, right? Or we can say this is a body. Depends on the context. Idam, ime, imani, pale pani. Idam. Okay, so ime netre spurataha. Spurataha. Okay, spurata. It's means to shine. Okay, what shines? These two eyes shine. Okay. Idam, ime, imani. So ima, I don't want to use the same tune because then we're going to lose the ayam, ima, ime, right? So idam, ime, imani, right? So imani, bhutani, jayante. I thought it said nyayante, but it's jayante. Imani bhutani jayante. This is all Bhagavad Gita coming out. She's clearly reading Bhagavad Gita, writing these sentences. So, bhutani jayante, the beings are born, right? These beings are born. right? This is karmani prayoga. So the object of being born is imani bhutani. Okay. Ime, oh, sorry. Anena jnane, sorry. So idam ime imani. Idam ime imani. Anena abhyam ebhi. Rest is the same. So anena jnanena vastu jnayate. Because of this knowledge, this reality is known. Okay. Yeah, so our time is up. So hopefully we feel okay. We feel pretty good about Punlinga and Napumsakalinga in idam-śabdha. We'll review this and we'll add on our feminine in our next class. And we may go to some sandhi again. There's no homework, but what I would say is if you have some time, I would rewrite this chart, right? You don't need all the top and the side as much as in detail, but rewrite the chart with the case after each one. It's helpful to do this, or record your voice saying this slowly so you can listen to it. Okay, but I would really write it out as well. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Hari Om.